Hey, perfect timing, Mary.
Hello.
We're just going live. Scano, good afternoon, everyone. It's great to see you today on this Tuesday. It was a little chilly. I thought it was going to be a little warmer myself, but I will never, ever talk badly about the weather. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the little cool air that I encountered this morning when I got up for my morning rituals, I guess you could say, and just my gratitude that I do in the morning. I have this beautiful tree. I've talked about it before. That's like right in front of my window right now, and right when I go outside, and I hug it, I touch it, I love it. I'm grateful to see its cycles, and it really grounds me. I'm really grateful to the elders that have been guiding me along my reconnection to the land and my spirit and my elders, my culture, my ancestors. So I'd like to just take this moment to welcome everyone today that is coming in this moment and that will visit us later on, maybe on our recording in our YouTube channel, or someone maybe have shared this with you. Welcome. And you're with Grandmother's Voice. We're a community, I guess, in urban and indigenous, started in this area of Halton region, but we've connected with many people across the nation. I had some great conversations with the sister Theodora in Calgary, and totally inspired me all over again that we're actually reaching each other, and we're supporting each other, because during this time, it's from what so many people have shared, is is worse than where they felt they were in COVID. And it could be a reality for so many of us, because it's like we're in this whirlwind of constant going. So we're here today to connect with the gardens, connect with each other, honor the elements and everything that the creator and Mother Earth provides for us, so that we can stay connected and nurture ourselves and our spirit. So welcome, and we'll just welcome our sisters and our guests right now. Introduce yourself, ladies, and then I feel like I have some things that we really have to talk about, kind of circle back to why we created this platform, and who it's for. So Nyawa for joining us, Andrea and Mary.
Thanks, Jody. I have a couple of tree stories to also share. My husband has this favorite tree out in our backyard. It's a maple tree, and its branches hang over where we have our reading chairs, and he's created kind of this little nook, and it just makes him happy to see the leaves coming out and everything re-emerging after the winter months. And I had a nice conversation this morning too with a friend at one of the gardens that the grandmothers came out to do ceremony at, and the trees are all in this lovely circle, and there's benches, and it was just such a calm and peaceful place to have a beautiful conversation this morning with friends and community members who want to make change in this community and make it a better place. So just all coming back to the work that you're doing, and we're thankful for you and the grandmothers and for the support and the love that you're sharing in the community.
Mm-hmm. Hi, my name is Mary Brown. I am the events director at Sustainable Milton. I'm so grateful to be invited into this group, and the love and the sharing that happens here. And I will say, for my part, I am really starting on my journey to replace, plants in the garden and that don't help birds and bees and butterflies. And so yesterday I was out there with the sweat pouring off my brow, trying to remove English ivy and cut back the I think it's called periwinkle with the purple. It's a lovely purple flower, but it doesn't help any pollinator or any native insect. So I found a book and I ordered it, and I'm now just can't wait to start to crack it open and find some plants to plant.
Got to share the book, Mary, and then
Yeah.
hey, Kevin.
Did you want to
Hello.
see what one it is? This one. It's called the lady. There's three people that have put this book together. One is someone who's a bee expert, and the other lady is the author, and then there's an illustrator, and the illustrations are gorgeous. And it talks about the importance of pollinating insects, and especially bees, and how many we've lost, and how to bring them back, and what to plant. And a lot of the book is just showing you different native species and when they are in bloom, and it's just beautifully illustrated. So you might like this. It's called a Rusty Patch Bumblebee, Garden for the Rusty Patch Bumblebee. So.
And to bring it back to last week's conversation about Nomo May, those are the two ladies that I referenced around the downside to Nomo May and what we should be doing instead. So
yeah,
awesome timing on that.
Mm-hmm.
How's your hair, Kevin?
Non-existent. I did go right down to the wood.
Full mow.
Yeah, full mow. Sorry. I couldn't embarrass my family any longer. Were we just having a go around and talking about what we do? All right. I am Kevin Hamilton. I work at Nowassa and McQueston Urban Farm in the east end of Hamilton, Melvin and Woodward. We have kind of A to Z vegetables growing here, a bunch of fruit trees, and yeah, what were we transplanting? We transplanted some kale this morning, and we did lots of beets yesterday, and 500 or 600 lettuce, and I seeded some carrots. And then I also am, I have a farm business called Tilthy Soil Organic Farm, where I'm doing lots of the same things. So yeah, weekly food boxes and that kind of thing. And as far as helping the pollinators go, we have such a diversity. I think we're like 30 kinds of vegetables and like 100 plus varieties of those vegetables. So there's always things pollinating, and I'm trying to grow a bunch of flowers too. Well, not trying, we are, and just kind of putting them at the ends of beds and in the middle of beds, and one that keeps all the roots there. So if it's a perennial, or I mean an annual bed, I have some flowers planted throughout the bed, so the roots there are growing and still feeding all the microbes and doing all that stuff. And then of course the beautiful pollinators. I know Tulsi is a really cool one, and mint is another good one, but Tulsi is sacred basil. And when that one flowers, the bees and pollinators are just all over it. It's really amazing. And same with the mint. When the mint flowers too, something about those really aromatic herbs that attract lots. So yeah, I generally let them flower and just leave them in, even though I shouldn't, as somebody who's trying to make a living.
You're always fun to talk to, Kevin. I got my message this morning from Abby. She's your volunteer lead, I guess, over at the farm. Is she? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. So anybody that wants to take part or be a volunteer, go check out the website, McQueston Urban Farm, and I think you can sign up right there. It's a cool farm. I came out the minute that I think it was pretty much close to a minute. When I went out to Country Heritage Park, when Jamie invited Grandmother's Voice out there to help kind of build up the garden, the wellness in his property there. I saw everything that they had there, which was pretty much nil, to be honest with you, from an Indigenous perspective and nurturing of the land, and just love back. I was like, just kind of put it out there. I need some, somebody to kind of guide this. And seriously, within a couple of minutes, one of the ladies that I worked with at the school board at the time messaged and said, "Hey, you should go check out this farm. I heard you were up at Country Heritage Park." So this is the synergy that we love, is when people are paying attention, and that's, I think, where we are right now in society. Before we went live here, Andrea and I were talking about just how different times are, and I don't know if if the people are really realizing it, or even like are realizing it, the change that is happening right now, there's a huge shift. However you want to look at it, from a realistic, place, or spiritual, or just from being in this realm, we know that there's a big shift happening, and it's uncomfortable for a lot of people, because there's so much change coming. And but this is a really grateful platform for me. I'm so grateful when I come here to share this time together, and know that our elders say we need to connect to the land. And it's really not anything more than that. And so, how do you connect to the land? I mean, beginners is fine. Just getting back to the land is really what we encourage. And I think what this time is all about. So grateful that people are here to share their knowledge, whatever that looks like. And grateful as an Indigenous woman to be able to be, in this space, learning from my friends that, that are willing to share with me. And then I get to take it as an Indigenous woman, knowing my teachings and understandings, and get to go there, get to go to the space, wherever it is, wherever part of the land is that I get to go to, and bring all of this, and be present, and just see what the land teaches me and what I get from that land. And that could be anything from, spiritual messages to body healing, to intergenerational healing. And that's really, I believe, where we are in this time. So just grateful that I can actually even say this on this platform, and know that it resonates with the people that I'm here in this circle square with. And then for the people who will watch this and join us later. So I love that Andrea is like thinking ahead of, where we are with our conversation. So where are we at today, Andrea, with our
Compost Awareness Week.
Yes.
So, talking about nurturing the land and getting back to basics, we need to be feeding the soil rather than just taking from it. So, putting that organic matter back in, being aware of food waste, compost waste. I've already made my first trip out to the Halton Region Waste Management site to fill up my vehicle with that beautiful black compost that they give away. And it's from the yard waste material. So, trees that are cut down, anything that goes in your yard waste bags for collection and gets composted into this beautiful mulch / compost that can be added back in. And that's what I use to top dress my lawns, or my gardens rather. I do add a bit to the grass, but I'm slowly digging that all up. But I don't water through the summer. I don't have to put any fertilizer on, mostly because I use native species, but also because I've got this beautiful mulch on top that keeps all that good stuff in the soil and feeds the earth. So that's my back to basics tip for the week.
And in terms of, you were talking about sharing, Jody, and I wanted to mention that the BD Library, I was up at BD Library on the weekend past, and we were putting together seed packets, and they're going to have a seed sharing program there where you can go in, you can, take seeds that you would like to plant, put them in your garden, and then when they do come to seed in the fall, you can collect those seeds and return and bring them back to the library and in exchange for that, you can collect other kinds of seeds. So this is a really wonderful way of sharing and, caring for the land and learning. It's a really good learning opportunity. I'm really looking forward to taking some seeds in to replace what I have.
Sorry, I'm just typing here. I think my things are going in the private chat if they can be transferred there.
Yeah.
But I do have I have a workshop coming up. I just did one at Planting Seeds of Hope in Middleport, and it was it was really in depth on soil. Probably a little more. I like to do go arounds to see where everybody's at, but it got a little bit heady there. And on the 20th of May, which is I think next weekend, I have a hands-on bed building, no dig bed building workshop where I'm living. And yeah, we talk about soil and planting timelines and all that fun stuff, and how to build soil and how to use all your native plants around that are growing on the farm, and establishing nettles and other plants that are going to be also good for nourishing your soils and making botanical amendments and that kind of thing. Yeah, and I'm really a big fan of cat chase mouse technology, in that that simple stuff that makes sense, that take this rock and smash this plant and stick it in a bucket, that kind of stuff. So yeah, it'll be a good one, and I love sharing all these simple things and information like that, and a lot of it's just old things that hasn't been passed down, or things that have been forgotten. So
Do you do
yeah, if
anything
anybody has
with
time.
Do you do anything with comfrey?
Yep, I just got a bunch of seed from Richter's, and I'm gonna start 300 or 400 plants and stick them on the edges of the forest and in the forest and all that, because yeah, they're a dynamic accumulator and are a good one. But
Ferns,
yeah,
yeah.
we cut that one down and smash it up, and I make a liquid syrup from it, and yeah, do foliar sprays and drench the soil with it. It's great stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, all these little tips. Not that I'd be using, I'm not going to lie. Not just yet anyway, but I find it so super intriguing. I was just down with my tobacco seedlings yesterday. Andrea, wait till I show you. You were right in when we were transferring and setting that up, and it's beautiful. Like, just even seeing the green come from that, it's fulfilling for me. So to get to understand, I guess, going back to Andrea, like, even this whole month is mental health awareness, and there's so much happening even for us. Dennis Wendigo is coming. Actually, I'm just going to plug this right now, right in the middle of here, June 7th and 8th. And this week, when we were talking about what he's going to be sharing with us, it's so powerful to know that the work that these elders are really trying to do is to embed the knowledge of how our wellness is connected to our connection to the land. And it's just the reality of it. And to understand, like, how they approach it and share it, it's not difficult to get it. It's just like, I guess when you're ready to hear it, just like anything, when you're ready for it, you'll adapt it or adopt it, or just be it. And he said this one quote that I actually put into his merchandise or marketing. You were never disconnected from your spirit. Colonization just got between you. And, like, it's just so powerful, the time that we're in right now, where our elders are out there being able to share, and not even just the elders anymore. They've been transferring this knowledge to people like us, like you, Kevin. You've worked with so many Indigenous people, that what you do inherently, is, it just comes from this place of being in that, in that energy and that knowledge. So it's cool when we can sit here and just kind of bring that full circle. So was there anything that you wanted to share, Andrea, on your list of connection to the land? Or
No, I think you've kind of touched on some of the things that I wanted to, I don't know, just open up for discussion around mental health, and just different pieces that, as we learn, we maybe change our approach or philosophy or understanding of how we should be doing things, and conversations that we can be having with people around us. There's a lot on social media around, because it is Mental Health Month, just getting outside, get your hands in the soil, sit under a tree, fresh air and a little bit of exercise. Just so many benefits that being out in nature provides. But as our area becomes more and more urbanized, how do we make sure that we have those green spaces, that we have that connection to nature preserved? I don't know if that's the right word, but protected. There we go. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. How do we make sure that nature is valued as our society changes?
Kevin, you're the area that you're at in Hamilton there. I know you have your more rural area, I guess. Your bigger, is it your home farm or where you have that?
Yeah, where I'm doing the workshop, yeah, we're pretty much out in the sticks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sticks,
it's very
whatever, however
agriculture.
you refer to it. I was so intrigued though by the farm, like McQuestion Urban Farm. For those of you who don't know, it's, I think, if I recall, it's an old air, like air, what do you call it?
Yeah,
Runway,
it was a landing strip
landing strip.
for World War One, and yeah, training pilots and that. And there's still the barracks are just a couple blocks over that they haven't torn down yet. Are kind of the last remnants of that time. But
Yeah,
yeah, we had to take out a whole bunch of soil, like 8, 10 inches of soil, and it was right down to that hard Red Hill Valley is right beside us. So it was that hard red clay that we had to build up, that we've been building up for the last 6, 7 years. But yeah, it's a pretty neat space now.
yeah, you guys have done a lot of really great work over there.
I know another thing that's like they're calling it nature therapy, I guess, but I mean, I if I had interns, I had lots of people that would have mental health struggles would come through the farm, and a lot of people would send people to us because they thought, being in nature and having your hands in the earth and would be really grounding. And when I noticed people getting angry or struggling or whatever, I would just send them into the forest and say, yeah, just go sit down in the forest. Don't say a word. Just sit there for half an hour, whatever. And the longer you sit still, you'll start to see birds coming closer to you, and you might see a porcupine or a possum or whatever. And the air you're breathing relaxes you naturally. And then the other thing is taking off your shoes and putting your bare feet on the earth. Such simple things, and there's just so profound. And if you really wanted to go for it, go sit by a waterfall, because then you got all these positive or negatively charged ions when the water hits rock, and it's a whole nother cleansing experience. Like, it's actually helping you and killing free radicals in your body and all that when you're breathing that air in. And yeah, there's something so amazing about it, and you just have to sit there and experience it, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, it doesn't cost any money either.
I know in the Eco Schools certification, I'm not sure if it's in this year's, but they're trying to encourage students to go and find a sit spot on the playground when they go out as a classroom, that the child goes back to the same spot that they've selected, and they kind of observe and document over the course of the year the changes that are happening, and they become more familiar with what's going on around them. So very similar concept, that you become more in tune when you're just sitting and observing and listening and looking for the tiny things that are happening. Oh, I have to share something cool. I just noticing the little things. I was out on the weekend seeing if my little blue stem that I had planted last year in my garden was going to come back, because I planted it kind of late and it was a little tiny neglected pot that I had just stuck in the soil. And as I was kind of pulling it back to see if there was any new green growth, 3 ladybugs came out. So I was so happy that it was doing its job. You're planting these wild grasses for overwintering for these insects and pollinators and all the other little critters. So it just made me happy to see them. I was sorry that I had disturbed them, but happy that they were there.
I could kind of relate to that, Andrea, because yesterday with all the sweat that was pouring off my head. And I don't know if you tried to take out English ivy before, but it is tenacious. And those roots they're so thick, and you have to use clippers to try and, cut, and then you're pulling and pulling. And I had put a little Canadian anemone plant, which is a beautiful white flower in spring, just one plant in that area. And I couldn't see it when I went out to take away the ivy. So I'm pulling and pulling. And finally, when I got it mostly removed, there in a little crack, I could see the plant. There was no flower on it, but I knew that's what the plant was, because I had another one I was going to put in. And here this plant had survived. And I think it just shows that, the native species, they're the ones that want to be there, and they hang on. They root in, and life comes back. You tear away all this stuff that's wrong, and then life shines through.
Good metaphor for the resilience that we need in our community.
Yeah.
There you go. See, I love it. I don't even have to say it. I don't even have to share those things. We're all learning. I just want to acknowledge, hey, Andrea, our sister Andrea is watching, and she shared this, and it's one of our, I guess one of the things that we talk about, the symbolism of our trees, and how we see, ourselves in them. They're the, standing people, and it's true. And this is one of the reasons why Grandmother's Voice was created, was the coming together of many, many different voices, but having the same message, right? And knowing that we're here to hold each other up, but also become stronger together. And then, and it's okay. Obviously, we branch out in different directions, but also, always remembering where you can return home to, and that the doors are always open, as Grandma Renee says, and all those little critters you're talking about, they all have purpose. And when we can start to pay attention to those little tiny details, those little tiny purposes in our life, then we'll get back to balance, and we'll come back to balance. And we'll come back to, making space and time like this to just come and be in the middle of our work day and share this time together. And I appreciate it, even though it's like we get here just in the nick of time, or a few minutes late, or whatever it is. It doesn't matter. We've created this space and time, and we're coming here with a purpose. And so, Nyawa, for everyone that has, joined us here, I think we're going to keep doing this until we get really busy. So if there's anything that you'd like to hear, or hear us talk about, or if you'd like to add anything in here, you can reach out to the organizations that we all belong to. You can even come back and message on this chat. You'll see it on our YouTube or Facebook. You can visit any of the Facebook pages, and really be good to yourself. This is Mental Health Month, I guess, and whatever that means to people out there, maybe just being mindful that, everyone's on their journey, and, we meet people wherever we can, however we can, and just being conscious that we're all in this together. I like your bald head, Kevin. I'm not going to lie.
My brother shaves his head, so now I really look like him, so it's pretty funny. It's the second time my head has seen the light of day like this, to this extent. But
well, it was worth it. It was pretty funny. So I guess if anybody else has anything to say, or
I just wanted to share some words of encouragement for you, Jody, because I know that people do watch the videos after. I sometimes check out the view statistics. And my son was struggling this morning. He did not want to go to school. He didn't want to face the conversation that they were having in class, in history class, because they've been talking about residential schools and missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. And he just couldn't process the atrocities. And he said, where's the hope? Do I have to wait until I'm old enough to vote and I can make a change at the government level? And I said, well, it's funny, not funny, but Jody had this great conversation with a bunch of organizations in Halton looking to find solutions, and not just after the violence happens, but how to prevent it. And part of it is healing our community and, healing the men, healing relationships. So I'm thankful to have Kevin in this conversation. I'm thankful to the community work that is happening, and just to have that conversation that I could point my son to go and watch and see that there is hope. There is work being done. There are people that want to make a change now and not wait.
Thanks, Andrea. It's good to know that we can support our kids. I'm emotional because it's real. These are the conversations that are happening in our systems, that our kids go to every day, and we wonder, and we have no idea what is happening to their spirit while they're in these places that, have been set up for centuries, we'll say, and we're all waking up to the fact that we don't have control when our kids are not around us. And so it's important for us to be very centered when they are here, so that we can continue to support them and guide them in this journey. Well, now what?
Get back out into the garden and connect and heal.
It's time to go for a walk or something. Nyawa, for you guys, for tuning in and sharing and for being here.
Thanks, Jody.
Thanks so much.
See you next week.
Have a great day, guys.
Have a great week.